You may or may not be aware, but the amount you're paying for your booked calls is probably too high. If you're running ads, or even if you're not running ads, but mostly if you clicked on this video, you're probably running ads to book calls through a book a call funnel. If you are paying like more than a couple $100s, but honestly, like I'm even consulting on a book a call funnel right now. They're paying $20 for book calls. I'm not saying everyone's going to get that cheap because it would actually be, it's not so easy to get calls that cheap. However, most of the time I'm seeing people paying for calls 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, sometimes even over $1,000 for a booked call. This is incredibly difficult to stay profitable in that situation. Obviously, you might have some other offers you're running through and you're like, well, it's fine to be paying that much for a book call, but if you could make it cheaper, would you not try and make it cheaper? Now, obviously, years ago, probably coming up on 10 years ago at this point, Sam Ovens, one of the inventors of the now online consulting world and book a call funnels, said he was paying, anywhere between $250 and let's say $800 for a book call for Consulting Accelerator, which was, I believe, honestly, probably only like $3,000 or whatever, somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 program. So he was like, it's fine. Like if you're running a $300 or $5,000 program, $3,000 or $5,000 program or more, and you're like, well, we could theoretically pay up to $1,000 per booked call. But the thing is that those metrics are no longer like, you don't need to have that anymore. Like we know so much more about ad data now, so much more about how these algorithms work, and also so much more about how to lower your call costs. And the reason you'd want to lower your call costs is more profit. Your revenue may stay the same. Let's say you book the exact same amount of calls and you close the exact same amount of deals, but the profit that you're making on those deals is going to be more. And most of the time when I'm in a funnel and I'm looking at their stats and it's like they're negative $10,000 a month, negative $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month, they're losing on their ads. And there's two specific ways to decrease your cost per book call. And I'm going to tell you what those are in this video. But you need to remember that when you're running a book a call funnel, you have not just ad spend costs, you usually have closer costs, you've got tools that you've got to do. And it's one of the main reasons why people who are running book a call funnels end up feeling like, why am I making hundreds of thousands of dollars and yet I feel like I have no money? So there's two core ways, as I just said, to decrease your cost for book call. And I'd recommend doing both of them because for all of the reasons that I just said. First, you want to look at your link click-through rate of your ads. This is the first place where you can decrease your costs because the link click-through rate is the driving factor telling Meta, Instagram, Facebook, or really any ad platform that you're running, how many clicks your ad is getting. Like at what rate per impression are people actually clicking to check out what your ad is about. Now this isn't all clicks because all clicks would count see mores and comments and likes and people checking out your profile. We specifically want link click-through rate or outbound link click-through rate. This will tell you what the rate of people who are clicking your ads. And we want to see this at the very least above 2%. If we can get it above 3%, even better. This is the first way to decrease your costs when it comes to your ads. This is going to decrease your leads costs. It's going to decrease your cost per book call. And then obviously by default, it'll also decrease your cost per close. Now, the main way to make your link click-through rate better is going to be through the actual creative that you're running. This is a lot of what I do as a creative strategist, working with people on the creative that they're running, because it is more important than anything right now. It's more important than targeting. It's the most important thing you could basically do with your ads. Obviously, if you're getting great link click-through rates, you don't have to deal with this right now, but eventually you will, and you should always be trying to get higher. I even saw one of my clients has a 42% link click-through rate, which means literally almost 50% of the people who see this ad are clicking it. It's one of the highest I've ever seen. So the best way to do this when you change your creative is think about it from a couple perspectives. One is the copy, so the actual words that are attached to your ad or in your ad, and what angles are you talking about? If you only got one angle, like I was looking at a call funnel earlier today, they're only running one angle. They're running like one ad, one piece of copy, which means like really there's only one reason for someone to click. If someone doesn't align with that pain point, there's no reason for them to click, right? So we want to make sure that you are testing as many creatives as possible, both in the angles and messaging that you're putting out there, but also in the formats that you are putting out. For instance, maybe they're direct to camera, maybe they're carousels, maybe they're UGC, maybe they're green screen. So like different placements and different formats are going to perform different. And so if you're not getting at the very least a 3% link click-through rate, it means that the creative could be better, which means you could be paying less for those clicks, therefore less for those leads and less for those calls and less per sale, which just is going to make you profitable right away. The second place that you want to look in terms of, again, decreasing these costs so that you can be more profitable with your call funnel is the conversion rate of your landing page. It is the most overlooked place after optimizing funnels for 10 years that people forget. They think it's just about the ads. They're like, our ads need to change and, all that, maybe new targeting, all these things. Sure, your ads might need to change. I just gave you a suggestion there of what to do with what needs to change with your ads. But once someone clicks off that ad and goes to your landing page, this is your next best opportunity. This is the place where you can get more people to opt in. Now, if you're running a book a call funnel, you're either running people direct to a landing page where they're opting in for a free training, and then there's a call, or something like that. Maybe it's a low ticket, or maybe it's a free PDF or whatever it is. Get that number as high as possible. If you can get that to 20% or more, you're in a really good position when it comes to the amount that you're going to be paying. That will slash your leads costs, like completely. Like your leads costs are going to go down, cost per book call is going to go down, cost per close is going to go down just automatically by making that page convert better. Now, there's a couple ways to do that, and obviously better to look at your specific situation, but I'll give you some patterns that I've seen. One is to make sure that the landing page is directly related to the ad. It sounds super simple, but a lot of the time I'll look at a funnel and they're running ads with one message, but then the landing page kind of has a slightly different message. The example I like to use when it comes to this is, let's say you're selling an offer for sales training, and the ad says, become a top closer. And then someone clicks on to opt in to see how to do it, and then they're on a landing page that says handle objections better. Now, sure, those are inherently related. However, you are going to lose people. Your conversion rate's not going to be as strong because there's a slight difference in the reason they clicked on the ad in the first place and how you're positioning what they're opting into. So make sure that those two things are related as much as possible. The second way to increase your landing page conversion rate is to rely on the good old-fashioned heat maps. Literally, when I started putting heat maps on clients' funnels, it changed my entire life. I even use it on my own stuff, because it is very hard to know what needs to happen on a landing page if you can't see what people are doing. So there's a free tool called Microsoft Clarity. Highly recommend that, but there's also ones you can pay for, Posthog, Crazy Egg, all these things, and it will show you what people are doing when they get on a page. And I'll tell you, I was running a low ticket and I was getting tons of traffic. The ads were totally crushing. So the creative was on, the messaging was great. People get to the landing page and it wasn't converting at all. I was trying so many things and I was like, you know what? I should just put a heat map on this. And I did. And literally I watched it, I changed something, and I started selling. Because it's really difficult sometimes. Like, you can do as much as you can to optimize a page just off of, okay, we need a new headliner, we need new copy, or we need a new image. But unless you actually see people scrolling and where they're clicking and how long and where they're stopping and when they're bumping off the page, it's very difficult to know what to do next. So I literally just installed one for someone today just because I was like, we need this. If we're going to bring this conversion rate from a 2.5 to a 10, we need this. So these are the ways to lower cost per book call. It is one of the most important metrics that you can look at in terms of how efficient your ad spend is performing. And there's always a lever to pull within this to make, just in general, your broker call funnel more revenue and more profit. If you want me to diagnose your funnel one-on-one and give you, your number one constraints holding back rev and profit, feel free to get a funnel diagnostic below. Or if you want to work with me one-to-one, feel free to apply, and I'll jump in and I'll give you my best sauce. See you in another one.